In this video, I'm going to share a little bit about how to improve your self-leadership and certain skills that you can hone and practice. Everybody wants to be a leader these days. The problem is that people think leadership means delegation, telling people what to do, making people do what you want them to do. Well, in fact, I would argue, in my opinion, that what leadership is inspiring people to do things, inspiring people to step up into their own leadership and their own power. And the only way that I've seen that you can really do that is by first being a leader of yourself, meaning self-leadership. You can't lead others unless you can lead yourself. I mean, you can tell people what to do, and if you have a really powerful role and people to help you enforce it, that can kind of work, but it requires a lot of energy. So much better to be the kind of leader that people look up to, that really embodies leadership, congruent leadership, authentic leadership, and that inspires people to want to follow your vision, your mission. Ready? Let's go. So before I get into the actual skills of leadership that you can hone and practice, I want to share just a little bit about my own story. I'm a consultant and a coach, a mentor, and when I started my business about, almost 15 years ago, I didn't know a whole lot about real leadership. I had spent most of my career learning how to ask for favors, how to delegate, how to manage, but not really how to lead. Leadership for me required a whole lot of energy and attention. It didn't come naturally, and it was fraught with all sorts of conflicts and difficulties. What I know now in hindsight was that I wasn't really leading myself effectively, so I certainly couldn't lead other people. Luckily, I met a mentor. I met several mentors who all helped me to develop certain leadership skills in myself, which I'm going to share with you now. The first leadership skill that we must do with ourselves so that we can do it with others is truth-telling. Now, truth-telling is something that might seem pretty obvious, but when you think about the fact that a lot of us don't even tell the truth to ourselves, it becomes really clear that why we have so much of a problem delivering the truth to others. One of my mentors, Nanilea Diamond, she refers to this as not standing with yourself in a lie. So coming to the place where we can really be honest and trustable with our own self so that we can also embody the energetic of truth and trust with others. People can feel when we're not totally open and authentic and honest. And sometimes we don't tell the truth because we don't want to feel discomfort. If we're not willing to feel discomfort in ourselves, do you really think other people are going to be willing to feel discomfort when we tell them the truth? That's the source of so much conflict, right? When we think about it, it's telling the truth to someone that someone doesn't want to hear. And chances are that's a reflection for our own resistance to the truth that other people share with us. If we can start to get really comfortable with the truth within ourselves, then we are able to hold a lot more space for people to share the truth with us. The second skill is self-awareness. Self-awareness is all about knowing where we are in any given moment. A lot of times it's easy to have self-awareness on something that happened a while ago. Like, it's very easy to have self-awareness that maybe when I was a child, I was shy or I was scared of being rejected or not belonging. It's much, much harder to know that in this moment, I'm feeling fear or I'm feeling scared of being rejected or I feel like I don't belong. Self-awareness is knowing our feelings in the moment and being able to process those feelings, maybe even express them. Self-awareness is also letting go of avoiding behaviors. All the ways that we choose not to feel the feelings that we feel. Distraction, avoiding, blaming, numbing, right? Some of us drink, some of us eat, some of us shop. Self-awareness is recognizing that desire or that trigger, that craving for something outside of us to make ourselves feel better when it's really something on the inside that hurts. Self-awareness is also being clear about who we are and who we're not. What our strengths are, what our gifts are, what our drains are, what make us resistant or resentful, right? So self-awareness is really knowing ourselves fully and then living a life in alignment with that knowing. The third quality of someone who has self-leadership, has mastered that, is radical responsibility. I refer to radical responsibility as the practice of taking 100% responsibility for 100% of your life 100% of the time. Now, there's a distinction between responsibility and fault or blame. Yes, it's true that things might happen to you that are not your fault. This happens all the time. It's not about not assigning blame. It's not about taking like, okay, it's my fault. I created this somehow, but rather taking responsibility for how you show up in the face of that situation or circumstance. Someone who has mastered the art of self-leadership takes radical responsibility all of the time, and ideally does so pretty quickly, does so even in the moment. Like, how can I be responsible? How can I take responsibility for how I show up here right now? The fourth quality of someone who's mastered self-leadership is self-forgiveness. Self-forgiveness is the art of being able to let things go. And not just letting go things of ourselves, but it's also forgiveness in general, but especially forgiveness of ourselves. One of the things that we hang on to is the mistakes that we've made in the past. And it can be very challenging to take steps forward when we're always scared about making the quote unquote mistakes of the past. That's why having a process and having a skill for forgiving ourselves is so powerful. Now, by the way, I do have a tool that you can use for this. It's not my tool, so I'll just tell you to go Google it. It's called the Forgiveness Worksheet. This is a tool that one of my mentors, Jody Johnson, gave me years ago, and I still use it to this day to forgive others and also to forgive myself. By the way, before I give you the last two items on my list, I want to share the opportunity to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and please post a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Now, the fifth element of self-mastery is integrity. Now, when I talk about integrity, it might be a little different than what you're used to. When I look at integrity, what I'm talking about is wholeness, something being whole, complete, and perfect. Now, the first time I ever heard this definition of integrity was at a landmark education course, which, by the way, I highly recommend. So integrity in this sense means keeping your word, doing what you say you're going to do. Here's the thing. I understand perfect integrity is actually impossible. There is no way that you could ever, your entire life, perfectly keep your word every time. So integrity isn't necessarily about only keeping your word, but it's when you don't keep your word, when you do fail, when you do have a breakdown, that you make it whole, that you fix it, that you clean it up. And one of the best ways to clean it up is to, number one, acknowledge that you didn't keep your word, and then create a new promise and a new structure to keep it in the future. By the way, this involves some of our other skills up here. Step one, it's all about truth telling, acknowledging to yourself and acknowledging to others, hey, I messed up. I didn't do what I said I was going to do. It also involves self-awareness, recognizing why did you not do it? And then it requires taking radical responsibility and creating a new structure and a new agreement without hating yourself, making yourself wrong, or beating yourself up. And finally, the sixth piece of self-mastery is community. It's choosing to surround yourself with people who call you up to your highest self. It's choosing to surround yourself with people who also are embodying these characteristics and practicing these skills. In my world, what that looks like is having coaches and mentors of my own, and also in my community, leading my community and sharing these principles with them so that they can help hold me to account even as I hold them to account. If you're looking to build or grow your speaking, coaching, consulting, or expert business, and you want to do it using these principles of leadership and self-development, then I can help. Let's connect to see if and how one of my programs might be a fit for you. You can book time with me on my calendar at superstardiscoverycall.com, or just click on the link below in the description.